Now for the next to last story. Just something a little sad, but also a little hopeful. Uh, the 3 year anniversary of Chadwick Boseman passing away very suddenly for all of us, was a few days ago, August 28th, 2020. I still remember just kind of getting on Twitter and seeing that devastating news. Like obviously we all know him as Black Panther. I'd watched him in other things. Chadwick Boseman, he was a great talent. He wasn't my cousin or anything like that. I didn't know him personally, but there's no denying that his turn as T'Challa in the Marvel movies, particularly in the outstanding Black Panther. I mean, it's a transcendent performance. It resonated with so many people of color throughout the world. Were just inspired, and Lottie, you remember that? You remember that summer when that
Hmm.
came out? You remember how everyone was? How every black person you ever saw, black American, African, of African descent, immigrants, people back on the continent, everywhere. That was our moment, right? That was our
Yeah,
time. We all got together and said,
yeah,
we gonna turn up. We gonna pull up at every damn movie theater across the world. We gonna pull up and we gonna show up and show out. And that's what we did. And we helped drive that to over $1 billion. And at the head of that was Chadwick Boseman. Um, and his loss was, I mean, that was a tough month after when he passed so suddenly. And obviously it made them change, Black Panther 2 and all this other stuff, and we got what we got there. But I just kind of wanted to, and kind of in honor of Chadwick Boseman, just talk about who he was and what he meant to blurred culture and to young black kids who got to see him as their hero.
it's crazy. You know, it's already been 3 years. And that's crazy that it's been that long. It feels like it was like last year. But yeah, like you know, there were black superheroes before Black Panther, but Black Panther was the first African uh hero that became popular. He of course he was in the comic books, but like to become mainstream like that, like a lot of people decided to, get in touch. A lot of uh Black Americans and Africans, blacks from other countries and all that stuff decided to get into finding out who they're from in Africa after that movie. And you know, it made them realize that yes, it's okay, it's cool to consider yourself African, you know. So yeah, it's I'm sad to see him go. Of course, the character still lives on, but he played a great, masterful T'Challa. You know, I would love to see the character back in the MCU or in some form or fashion back in, comic book movies or TV shows again. I know it's going to take some time, but man, he really did a good job. He really did a great job. Not just as T'Challa, of course. He did a great job in his other acting role. Chadwick Boseman was a phenomenal actor and a great person. That speech that he told that you know when he was talking to young black men, like about a year before his passing, still rings in my ear. So
Yeah.
man,
And,
it's good. Like I said, it's crazy that it's been 3 years.
yeah. And I remember just kind of hearing about his story of how he wasn't I think he was like 42 or so when he passed, but he had spent all this time. He worked hard. Was he went to an HBCU and went to I think he went to England to like on a scholarship to do acting over, to study acting there. It was his craft. It was his calling. He played iconic characters like Jackie Robinson and James Brown, and unfortunately, he's also battling, I believe it was colon cancer for years, and kind of kept it to himself. And in the process was also doing a lot of charity work, and he was just he was everything that you want, someone who's playing that character to be. We just spent however many years, like 2.5 years, on the whole Ezra Miller foolishness, right? And we were talking about, remember we were talking about bag fumbles and everything like that with Letitia Wright and various other people that that were on some other stuff, and not necessarily on the same level as Ezra Miller. But what you got from Chadwick Boseman was, what you want from that superhero character. He was a good dude in real life. He was, you know, not just making it on his own, but also turning around and trying to help other people make it also. He was setting an example. He was blazing a trail. He was showing what was possible. He was proving to Marvel that and to people, the naysayers, that yes, movies that center an all-black cast can make big bank, can be marketable. That show that yes, if you put something out there for this community, they will come out for you. And to this day, I know plenty of black people. The only thing that they've ever seen in the Marvel universe is Black Panther 1 and 2. That's the only thing they know about it. And it's because Chadwick Boseman, and let's not forget, the people on the movie itself. Ryan Coogler was the director, right? And obviously he's the captain of the ship. But if anyone could be called a co-captain, it would have been Chadwick Boseman. And anyone that worked on that movie, when they talk about him, would tell you he would definitely knew that he had to be the one that set the tone. And I've never heard a bad word said about the man. So I keep going on. The point is, what a huge loss, for us as not just as nerds and not just as black nerds, but just as people who love film and who just like to see positivity going out into the world. That this young man died, taken far too soon. Before I think he had many great performances ahead of him, and we just were unfortunate that it wasn't to be. But that said, so glad to have gotten what we got. Glad that he's still, I know everyone wants to recast T'Challa, but he is T'Challa in my eyes, and he will go down as far as I'm concerned as a legend in the industry. So. I think that's I think that's a good way to go and to celebrate this man's legacy. So but you guys you guys let us know what you think about him. What do you talk about Chadwick Boseman and his impact on nerd culture?